Fetterman is like a
You know,
human.
they split ticket voters in
Fetterman is
Pennsylvania.
a-
The
Fetterman
British
is-
split ticket voters.
Which is why, by the way, that so I sometimes come on this show as well, whenever I come on the show, in fact, you can think of me as a sort of you need to worry or wonder what's going to happen in the next 6 months. I'll just tell you, as I did with DeSantis last time I was here. Because think of me as Cassandra, you know about Cassandra, who's a high priestess who warns of impending disaster and isn't listened to in the Trojan War, you know, and then she's murdered off stage in Aeschylus's Agamemnon. When Pennsylvania voters go to the polls, they, for some reason, have a little bit of a soft spot for people who aren't quite there. And this is why, this is a real reason the Biden family and the Obamas are so pissed off with Kamala, because there is a very real prospect that if Biden had stayed in, he would have won again. Not just because there are purple states that would have stayed with Biden that didn't for Kamala, but because Pennsylvania, as the pivotal, the key state in this election, already demonstrated that they were willing and able to vote for somebody who wasn't quite all there out of sympathy. The female voters of Pennsylvania in particular, they've already voted Fetterman over Oz, and they might well have gone for Biden over Trump. This is the real reason that they're all pissed off, because Kamala, in her arrogance, possibly cost Biden a second term. So, no, I would have voted for Fetterman. I thought he was sympathetic. I thought he was normal. Well, the way that he has been speaking about Trump shows that he's one of the only Democrats that gets it. He's one of the only Democrats who understands why people like Trump. And Dr. Oz is an uncanny valley alien weirdo.
I think Trump had a soft spot for him because he was on TV with TV a lot and had a relationship with
Trump likes him because Trump likes him because he's famous.
And gave him a lot of money.
Trump likes him because he's famous and because he gave him a lot of money. And Trump has a few weaknesses like this. Famous member of my family gave me a lot of money. Any of those three, and you'll get stuff you probably shouldn't with Trump. Okay, but you know, Dr. Oz is a classic kind of uncanny valley weirdo. Politics people in general. I mean, I've worked for a lot of senators, a lot of congressmen. I've written a lot of their books. 17 New York Times bestsellers. But
worst pick though. I mean,
not everybody has that.
Gabbard. There still is RFK Jr.
People in politics can't tell weird. There's something wrong with them where they can't tell weird. They can't tell when someone's a bit off because they're all a bit off. And they don't have that sort of like, yeah, okay, he's like a little bit slow, but a nice, normal, likable guy. That guy is from Alpha Centauri. So you know, I would have voted for Fetterman. I thought Fetterman was, you know, was
Good thing you British people can't vote in our election.
Don't start that. Don't start that nonsense.
Who was running against Oz?
Here's this.
There was a woman. Fetterman.
The primary.
primary.
Barnett?
What?
Oh.
There was Barnett and McCormick. He lost to McCormick,
Here's what the Senate should.
who's now the senator-elect.
But the reason Fetterman is, what should the Senate be? The Senate should be an eccentric, peculiar, distinctively American body that represents the best and worst of the country, just like the House of Lords on which it's modeled, right? Is supposed to be full of eccentric peculiarities who, as a combined body, reflect the character, the wisdom, and the distinctive identity of the country and of the people, right? That's what the Senate's supposed to be. Fetterman achieves that.
The new Fetterman clone. The new clone.
But Fetterman keeps getting better. Yeah.
First Fetterman clone.
Clone 12 is the best one yet.
Yeah.
We're loving it.
Yeah.
But Fetterman does that, Oz doesn't. Yeah. By the way, he was a dual citizen who served in the Turkish military.
What?
Really? Yeah.
We need to repeal the 17th Amendment.
No, he's a dual citizen who served in. I don't even know if it was the Turkish military. I think he might have served in Turkish intelligence. I mean, well, sorry, contradiction in terms of what an amazing thing that is to say. Turkish intelligence. But no. Oz is not just a If you have problems with dual loyalty, I mean, my goodness. No, Oz is a foreign weirdo. Thank God for Fetterman.
Repeal the 17th.
Just get rid of all of them. Get rid of all of them. Listen, what Adams said, okay, was that the Bill of Rights, meaning everything after the Constitution, the amendments, was suitable only for the government of a moral and religious people.
Right.
What he meant by that was Christians. Okay.
Why wouldn't he say
No.
Christian explicitly then?
Well, because
Everybody was Christian.
it was this.
Then why wouldn't he say it
Because
explicitly?
it was a given.
Because you don't
Religious,
need to.
religious,
No,
guys,
Elad, you're wrong.
religious
Good
freedom.
Christians,
Religious
too.
freedom in the time of the founders was about competing Protestant denominations.
Yeah.
And those competing Protestant denominations, they wanted to avoid wars between Calvinists and Presbyterians, whatever. So religious freedom was designed to stop civil wars among Protestant denominations. And moral and religious people meant to the founders and everybody else at the time, Christians. You cannot give non-Christian people unfettered access to speech or guns. It doesn't work, and it's not working, because if the First Amendment, basically the way this country is set up is morality is outsourced to Christianity. Okay, you have a huge amount of freedom, unprecedented freedom for people to choose good or to choose evil, and the presumption in this country is that morality will be governed by a set of Christian norms. Even if people aren't like practicing Christians, they kind of inherit the sort of a fundamental understanding.
Elad is shaking his head. Nobody's wrong. I just want to say that.
The idea that the first, second, and our amendments are only made for Christians, I think they would have explicitly said that. Our country, I think, was founded
I gotta pause you
on
right
the explicitly the opposite, and they would have said Christian explicitly.
I gotta
The
pause.
writers of our Constitution were all lawyers.
And I gotta pause. With all due respect, you are completely wrong. You need to read all of what the founding fathers have written about this because it is fairly explicit.
Yeah, and I think there was a range of
And
religion amongst them, and
what
I
you're
think they
saying
would have
is not true.
The range of
explicitly
religion was
said.
the range of religion was Presbyterian, Unitarian. The range of religion was Christian religion. There are no Jewish founders. There are no Muslim founders. There are
I
no
think they could have
Buddhist
I
founders.
think they're smart
There were
enough
no
to-
atheist founders.
Let's pause a second. Elad. Let's start with the Fifth Amendment. Do you know why the founding fathers created Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth?
Specifically, no. but-
It's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. It is literally, as the spoken word of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin said it is better that 100 guilty persons escape than one innocent suffer, which was a play on Blackstone's formulation. It is better that 10 guilty persons escape than one innocent suffer,
And
which is literally written. And real quick, the story was Sodom and Gomorrah. It is better, if but one righteous person exists, I will not destroy this land. It was literally the Bible, which is why they said we should enshrine this in our Constitution.
And the inalienable rights that Americans enjoy are given by God, and they don't mean Ashanti Chakra. They mean the Christian deity.
I don't think they.
In every,
I think they would have said so. I think you guys are really overlook how intelligent and smart founders were, and if they thought Christian and they wanted the country to be explicitly Christian, they would have explicitly said so. And I think that's why you guys have to read into it. That's why you guys have to read it into it.
I gotta stop you.
a Jew telling you to read between the lines.
I have read a lot of the foundational documents, and they would have explicitly written in
When he
Christianity.
asked you about 3, 4, and 5, could you have read them out? Do you know what they are?
No, not explicitly.
Okay.
Not explicitly. But that doesn't. I'm not rejecting.
don't know the amendments you're talking about. Everyone
I'm
else
not
is able to-
rejecting the religious influence on our founding documents. I'm saying they would have.
Tim, you've done it again. You found the only stupid Jew.
Moral.
My favorite.
What
Okay, hold on.
Why don't you think they would have included Christian English terms of moral and
We found the only retarded. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry. I know I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry.
Let's pause. Real quick. Hands on the board.
I never know.
When they say a good and moral people, they believe that other religions are immoral because that was the standard. The standard back then. That was.
So the phrase. Excuse me. Just because I know that you are a recovering libertarian, my dear friend Phil. That's not the expression. The expression is a moral and religious people.
Okay.
Religion
Founders
is
are
Christianity.
fucking
Now, I wanna pause.
Masons.
My favorite amendment
That's
is Amendment 7.
crazy shit.
Okay.
That's
What's
several,
Amendment 7?
all
Off
kinds
the
of
top of my
different.
head, I can't tell you. How about you tell us, Milo? Stop, Tim. How about you tell us, Milo?
Well, he's a pretty.
Stop. Wait, no. Let's hear it. Milo's willing to
Come
call me
on,
out on
dude.
knowing it. Not knowing it.
I don't
Milo's
know what it is.
Probably
Milo's not a shit.
I'm
Milo's
not
the
not a
reasons
shit. He'll
why
complain
it
about
is.
Dr. Oz being a dual citizen. He's only a British citizen, so it's really
Revolutionary War
irrelevant.
was
I'd like to
successful
open
in
up
the first
anybody
place
else.
because
Any of you
almost
guys
like
know
an
that?
intelligence
Okay,
agency is
Guys,
source.
does anybody else want to take a strike at the Seventh Amendment?
I don't know about the man.
I don't know anybody.
No one knows this.
Nobody knows this better than
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. The Seventh Amendment matters sort of. It's the right to jury trials in civil cases,
Almost
so long as
all
over
guys
$20.
born in this
Now
country
here's the
were
funny part.
Masons.
Back then, $20 was nuts. Today,
I
20
wouldn't
bucks ain't nothing.
necessarily.
So there is a dramatic
they're
change in what that
Christian, they are
amendment means
Christian, but
based on inflation and
They
Federal
have a
Reserve
lot of
policies,
different beliefs
which I
wrapped
find
up
hilarious.
in that.
That being said, Elon, there are numerous writings. Now, I
Maybe
will stress
some of
this.
them are
There were
Christian.
some founding fathers
know a lot-
who
I
were
know
here.
Masons
They
that
believed
are
in God. They didn't
Christians.
follow Christian moral teachings. But it is your argument is a classic and incorrect argument which doesn't actually look into the letters, the writings, the books. What you're saying is, why didn't they explicitly state this?
I mean, it's
it's the
never-
fish.
they didn't-
It's in the Declaration of Independence.
And almost-
It's the fish and water argument. Okay. So let me start you here.
I think they were purposefully
How about-
inclusive.
how about
The founding
I finish?
fathers were purposefully.
How about I finish? Sure. Do you know how air was discovered?
Do I know? It wasn't officially ever discovered.
Yes, it was.
Learn how
You are
to get
completely,
air.
you are completely
Air was
incorrect.
discovered.
I
Okay.
can't do that with this camera.
You are
I'm gonna
completely
get a better
incorrect.
When was
camera.
water discovered?
Air.
I can get
Please
this
don't make this
room
guy your White House
focusing
correspondent.
better.
My God in
Why?
heaven.
I
When
get
was
more
zero
light.
discovered?
'Cause I can only
It
got
was a
this
concept.
much.
It kind of
I
always
can
existed.
hear
It was
the
not-
wall.
No,
God.
No,
we did not.
Humans did not have a concept of zero. It was
Here.
discovered. Humans did
Right
not
here,
know
I
that
can't
air
see my
existed.
feet.
They thought there was nothing here.
Right
It was
here,
the
I can
ether.
see my feet.
There was an energy that you could feel. And then one day, some dude, they used to use these bronze
Maybe I'll
orbs
just
with
put a
holes
couple
in
pieces
and a
of
straw.
tape down.
They would dunk it in water with their
I
thumb
got a
over the
better
back, lift it
camera,
up, and
then
put
I
it
can
over
get
themselves.
closer, though.
One guy goes, "Hey, what happens if I put my thumb over the back and then put it in the water?" Hey,
Maybe
no
not.
water went in
They
the
must be
fall. Something is displacing the water. And then he said, "Guys, I got an idea." And that's when we discovered there was actually matter and mass all around us. Why didn't they write about air? It was in them and around them 24/7. There's no reason for the founding fathers, who were 99.9% Christian, to say, and don't forget, we're all Christians in this room, right? Let's write it down.
Except Tim, also to say,
It
is there in
Except
to say it is there in the Declaration of Independence.
That does happen.
It is there. It is there. In all of the founding documents, God is actually present as well. It's just that they don't feel the need to say it in every clause. You know, they
They
just-
never mention Jesus. And there's no mentions to Christianity, just allusions to moral and religious people. I think John Adams is smart enough that if he meant explicitly Christians, he would have said Christians specifically.
I guess he did.
Moral
He
and
did.
religious.
He did.
Not
You
in
just
this
haven't
one.
read any of it.
No, you're
Let's-
wrong. You're
let's
British.
pause. Let's
You
pause.
think you know a lot more about American politics.
Elon, how come our law books don't explicitly state that it only applies to humans?
Why?
I don't think these are like-
Well, I'd rather have them out there doing burnouts and shoot down my house.
Dolphins?
in American courtrooms until
fact,
very,
dogs
very
aren't exempt from
recently,
these laws.
until very, very
How the
recently in
kids are
criminal
doing.
trials in American courtrooms, what book do you swear on so that everyone knows you're telling the truth?
I think it's your own religion.
Is it the
Whatever
Talmud?
religious book. I think if you
Is it the Bhagavad Gita? Is it the Dead Sea Scrolls? No, it's the Bible. Grow up.
Do you know what percentage of this country right now is Christian?
it depends on how you define it, but at least 60.
No, it doesn't.
percent.
It's still-
It does.
it didn't-
I don't know. Are you discriminating between Christians, Catholics, which denominations?
No, they're all
Or-
Christians.
or all Christians.
It's-
Okay.
it's in
70%,
survey.
give
It's
or
about
take.
70%.
Okay.
Right.
And
It's a
it-
Christian
And
country.
do you know what that number was in like the 60s?
Probably closer to
I wonder
90.
if I'll get in trouble for having 10 casts playing while I was
Congratulations.
taping my
If you go
Be
back,
nice to the ruling elites, you know.
if you go back
practice.
even 50 years,
Oh, well,
this
we'll
country
find
was
out.
75% Christian.
I
If
guess
you go
I'll
back
take it
100,
down
it's
if I get in
100%
trouble.
Christian. There's very few people who weren't. Maybe some immigrants from Asia were, Buddhist or Confucianist or whatever.
And they would
There-
never, it would never
There's
been
some
imagined
Muslim-
that they
there are
would have been running
Muslim
for president.
countries who, despite being 99%
Well, hell,
Muslim,
man, if
still
you're forming
decide
the
to
government, you
enshrine
kinda
their
want
religious law
Confucianists.
explicitly.
But they're not America, and that's not what America
You
did.
know, you have a decent
Did they
government
do it in Britain at all?
anyhow.
Did they-
Let me ask you a
is
question.
Britain a Christian country?
You want your
I'm not sure. Maybe you can
government
tell us about Britain.
employees
We live
to
in
be
America.
Confused.
England is
the
the
monarch-
head of the Church of England.
I don't know. That's why I'm
I
asking the
can't-
British guy,
I
not the
can't-
American citizen.
I can't believe you don't know this, but the British monarch is also the head of the Church of England, which is the Anglican Church.
Yeah.
So in Canterbury Cathedral has an archbishop who is the sort of religious, if you like, the chief executive in corporate terms. And in corporate terms, the president of the board, the chief of the board, is the monarch. So if you are an English monarch, you have to be an Anglican because they are also the head of the church. Because the English church is an established church. So this establishment, which happened in 1776, is where you divorce religion from the state technically, right? And the reason it happened in 1776 is because if you're going to
Take my
cast off
break.
the British king, you have to do
Ooh, I
something
got
about the
14
religion
minutes.
because
I'm
you
only
can't
supposed to be
be sort of
10.
paying obeisance to the head of
10
the,
minutes,
of
take
your
a
own
break.
religion when you've just deposed him as the
And
head
an
of the state.
exercise
Oh,
another
I
10
apologize.
minutes.
It's true.
Nope,
I
I'm gonna
confused
end
you
this
guys
one.
for a British country.
Have a-
Or a
See
Muslim
ya.
country.
Okay.